Hi, I'm Kevin Devine. This is A-Sides. I'm like a ridiculous Elliott Smith fan. You know, he was like, I happened to be the right age to be in New York while he was living in New York, just as all of that was happening. And I probably saw him play 12 times or something between my 18th and 23rd birthday when he passed.
Yeah.
My thing with him was like he kind of was, it's really insane, but he kind of was able to be like all the Beatles plus Brian Wilson on record. But I would have been fine if every live show I ever saw was just him with his guitar. Because that's how I first saw him, and I was like, oh, he doesn't need anything.
He doesn't.
And then obviously his capacities kind of fell apart when some of the drug stuff caught up with him. But when he was on... So that's always been the challenge to me. I'll spend the rest of my life thinking I've never even gotten a tenth as good as he is, because he's kind of like this holy grail.
I'll say this though, there is a full version of Needle in the Hay that's amazing.
Oh no, I love seeing him with a band.
I mean, Stripped Down was obviously the pinnacle, but that I saw one version on YouTube where it was just like, what?
It's almost like, and it kind of bridges the gap between Elliott Smith and Kurt Cobain. When I watched that, when I heard that musically, not vocally, very different singers, but it has that same tuneful ugliness.
Right.
You know, it's heavy. It's heavy without being like metal. You know, you hear it and you're like, God damn. But he was heavy without anything. I saw him for the first time at Tramps in 1998 on Either Or, and it was life-changing. It was, I mean, that sounds stupid. It was. I remember watching him and being like, this guy could play till 3 days from now, and I'm not moving. And I played acoustic music and solo music, and I came up around punk and hardcore and would always be like a guy who played that stuff at those shows. But he was the first person that I was like, oh, you could do it, and you could play. He could have opened for punk bands, metal bands, had metal bands open for him, and it would have been like, he's not sacrificing a goddamn thing. Yeah. Anyway, not to get into an Elliott Smith tangent, but that's the challenge to me, to make the songs good no matter how they're presented.
Is your whole career basic? I mean, I think, at least from an outsider, you've been pretty fortunate, because it feels like whatever you want to do, you do. You want to put out a double record, you put out a double record. You want to just do a complete cover of Nevermind, and you just do it. Which, by the way, 25 years is this month, which is crazy.
I know. That's right. It's probably actually now.
Yeah.
That it was released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it so vividly, and I always say this and date myself, but to just prove how much that record changed my life, I bought the single. It's the same day, and I said single. I know. Same day.
I had it too.
I bought two singles. One was, and I took the bus, so I'm listening to both of these. The A side and the B side.
Can I guess the other one?
Oh, you will never.
Is it a rock record or no?
Not so much.
All right, then forget it. I was going to guess. I was going to guess Motown Philly by Boyz II Men.
No. But no. It wasn't that bad. Although I did own it.
Yeah.
It was "Smells Like Teen Spirit" with
Even in His Youth.
Even in His Youth on the back. And then it was Tears in Heaven for Eric Clapton.
Dude, I had that single too.
But bought on the same day.
That's amazing. Well, you're a man
bought on the same day.
Yeah.
And just listened to both on the way down. And I remember thinking wow, I don't know, because I grew up with an older sister, and I kind of followed her kind of pop music kind of thing. And then slowly drifted away, and that was the...
Oh, they were like the big yank.
Yeah, that was the, oh wait, I'm free to like my own stuff now? And then I heard Even Flow when I was shopping at Urban Outfitters, and I'm like, I like this band, and I never do this, and I went to, and no, you don't have to if you have SoundHound. Totally sounded like I'm 50 years old.
No,
but and then going into Urban Outfitters and just being like, who is this band?
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, well, this is Pearl Jam. And it just totally set me on a different path. And now look at what a successful songwriter I am, right? I mean, look at
this. In the music conservatory.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, wow. No, but it's amazing how, because you were saying about Elliott Smith, it's amazing how you can just pinpoint. And I always look at songs that way, songs aren't songs, songs are periods of your life.
Oh, totally.
You hear something and you're like, oh, okay, so Far Behind and by Candlebox is I Have a Month Left of High School song.
Right.
And I remember all of this, you know. Oh, okay, so Stone Temple Pilots, tiny songs from the Vatican shop.
Was this?
Oh, that's when I was in college, and I remember the show was canceled because he was on drugs.
Probably.
And they canceled the show. But anyway.
No, I think, and what's interesting about that from this perspective of a songwriter or an artist or whatever, is that's something that you reckon with people who come up to you and identify your music as a certain period of time for them, and you are in your music every day and you think of it as a more present thing. And for some people it is. Some people, and I've been lucky in the sense, you started this by talking about your
it's all about
fortunate
right
circumstances, which I appreciate hearing, because I sometimes think I am actually the most fortunate in my peer group. I've been somebody I was never burdened by great commercial success. So I've been able to keep relevant because of that. Right. And I've been able to kind of do whatever I want. And some people have come in at certain points and departed and come back, or some people, I will be a new artist to some people on this record. That's happened. I mean, I can't tell you how many photo shoots or interviews I've done at like South by Southwest or something as like new artists at South by Southwest 2014, and I'm like, this is my 8th time here, but I'll take it. I'll be a new artist there till I'm 60 years old if it means that people keep coming in the door. It is funny though when someone will say like, oh dude, you were my favorite songwriter in high school, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm supposed to say thank you. Yeah, that's a little weird. That's weird. But they don't mean it that
it's not meant as an insult.
No, in fact, it's really, really dear to them.
Yeah. And all those songs, by the way, that I mentioned, I still have a heavy rotation.
Yeah, no doubt. And so do, and also if I think the band should always think, like Radiohead should think A Moon-Shaped Pool is the best record they've made.
Sure.
Even if I will listen to OK Computer or Kid A, but they should think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I should think that what I'm making now is more vital. If I thought that what I was making when I was 22 was more vital, then something is stunted in me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just very quickly about the fortunate circumstances thing. It is so funny how that is like a day in, day out wrestling match, because there are days where I think that I feel like after the Capitol Records experiment, which was 10 years ago now, I put a record out the Capitol, and put it out is a very debatable term. It was kind of stillborn, and it was right before Capitol merged with Virgin and it was a bloodbath and everyone got fired. It was one of those stories, that I am trying to break your heart story, except I didn't get re-signed by EMI afterwards. I spent 3 or 4 years just operating out of a defensive crouch, trying to figure out like how, just building an audience, like one show and one whatever at a time. And I think I even did that longer than I needed to, because I just thought like the sky's always falling and you just have to keep moving. Yeah. And what's kind of happened is the sky keeps falling in the music industry, and the way I've been doing things for a long time is now kind of the way people do things, and that's been beneficial for me. And in the interim, music I've been associated with that wasn't always like critically respected is now having a moment where it is critically respected. So the moral is like, you're fortunate if anyone cares enough to listen to any of your music, but if you don't die and you don't quit, like things move in cycles, and eventually like they catch up to you or you catch up to it or whatever. But I like hearing that it's maybe the perceived that I am fortunate, because some days it can feel like the grass is greener for the people who have had like bigger hits or whatever. But I've gotten to kind of do exactly what I want, and I'll take that.
Yeah, and you should.
Yeah.
So we're at the end of the interview. So do we want to? We were talking off camera about doing an awkward wave goodbye.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Out of context, it's gonna be priceless.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So how do you want to say goodbye?
Bye. Bye.